Hello and welcome to the news on Enyimba TV. We're reaching you from Aba, the commercial and industrial hub of Abia State, Nigeria. First, here are the top stories. Former President Buhari congratulates President Tinubu on first anniversary, asks Nigerians to back him. Organized labor dumps federal government's fresh 60,000 naira minimum wage offer shifts to 494,000 naira. Indigenes protest alleged imposition of monarch in AKWETE, NDOKI, ancient kingdom of UKWA West. These and other stories, plus foreign, business and sports shortly. Thanks for joining us on the news update at this period. My name is Michael Oni. Now the news in detail. Former President Muhammadu Buhari is appealing to Nigerians to support President Bola Tinubu's administration to enable it succeed in its efforts to build Nigeria. This is contained in a statement signed by Garuba Shehu, the Senior Special Assistant to the President, extending good wishes to President Bola Tinubu on the completion of his first year in office. According to the statement, former President Buhari appealed to all citizens to continue to strengthen the thread of national unity and goodwill. The former president, however, expressed his wishes for a successful tenure in office by Tinubu administration. The special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, says his principal will not deliver a speech to a joint sitting of the National Assembly today. This is contrary to earlier statements by the spokesperson of the Senate, Yemi Adaramodu, and his House of Representatives counterpart, Akin Rotimi Jr., as well as the special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Nanuga. The spokesman, in a Tuesday morning joint statement, said Tinubu will deliver a speech to a joint session of the National Assembly, but the special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Chief Ajuri Ngelale, in another statement described the former one as false and unauthorized. Well, let's talk about governance now. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, says President Bola Tinubu has approved an emergency economic plan that will be implemented within the next 6 months. Edu disclosed this in Abuja during the sectorial report of President Bola Tinubu's first year in office. The minister said the government now has enough to clear debts. Well, according to the minister, unlike when the administration came into power, the government did not have enough to pay its way. We're still talking governance as the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Doris Uzokanite, says Nigeria secured an investment commitment of over $30 billion in last year. The minister, while giving an update on the achievements of the ministry, noted that the federal government is set to establish commercial courts across the country to try business cases. This development, she said, aims to send a strong message that Nigeria is a big player for investors. Dr. Anite further explained that the federal government has invested $3.5 million to unlock the textile and apparel industry and is set to flag off the Light Up campaign to boost the power situation for small and mid-sized enterprises. Well, let's talk about labor matters now. The organized labor has again rejected a fresh minimum wage proposal by the federal government. This time, the organized labor comprising the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) rejected the offer of the federal government to pay 60,000 naira as the minimum wage for workers. The organized labor also shifted ground from its 497,000 naira stance last week to 494,000 naira. The meeting was deadlocked as talks ended without an agreement on what to pay as the new minimum wage. The tripartite committee for the negotiation of a new minimum wage for Nigerian workers is yet to agree on a new minimum wage just about 3 days before the May 31 deadline the labor unions gave to the government to conclude the negotiations. Well, let's go straight to the National Assembly now. Senate has passed the bill seeking to revert the Nigeria's old national anthem. The bill seeks to replace the current anthem with the former one adopted at independence on October 1st, 1960, but dropped in 1978 by the Olusegun Obasanjo military regime. The Senate President, Godswill announced passage of the bill after majority of the senators supported it through voice votes. The bill was considered and approved at the Committee of the Whole. The upper chamber passed the bill after considering a report of its Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters presented by Tahir Mongono, its chairman. We're still sticking with the National Assembly, and of course the upper chamber of the National Assembly Senate has recalled Abdul Ningi, who was suspended for accusing its leadership of fraudulently smuggling projects into the 2024 budget. The upper chamber announced Mr. Ningi's recall after it resumed from a closed-door session which lasted for over an hour. The resolution to recall the senator was sequel to a motion sponsored by the minority leader Abamoro during plenary. The President of the Senate, Godswill announced the unconditional recall of Ningi after a brief plea by some lawmakers. Ningi was recalled some 2 weeks to the end of his 3-month suspension, which is supposed to terminate on the 12th of June, 2024. And now to the lower chamber of the National Assembly. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, says the 10th Assembly will declare a state of emergency on health to demonstrate its commitment towards tremendous improvement in the standard of living of Nigerians across the country. Honorable Abbas stated this during the public hearing on the establishment of 13 teaching hospitals, federal medical centers and other health institutions across the country. The speaker, represented by the minority leader, Honorable Kingsley Chida, expressed optimism that the stakeholders' input will add to the quality of legislations the present 10th Assembly will bequeath to the nation. Let's talk agriculture now. Kano State Chairman of Tomato Outgrowers Association of Nigeria, Togan, Sani Danladi, has revealed that Tuta absoluta, one of the most devastating pests affecting tomato crops, is the main cause of the soaring prices of tomatoes across the country. Mr. Danladi disclosed this in an interview with Enyimba TV. In recent weeks, households in Nigeria have had to dig deeper into their pockets to buy tomatoes, one of the most commonly consumed vegetables in the country, as prices have risen sharply due to shortage. Mr. Danladi revealed that the Tuta absoluta reappeared in Kano, Katsina, Kaduna and Jigawa states in February. Well, he added that the tomato Ebola started in February, but because there were highly large production areas, it didn't affect, but from April up till this period, that it is when all the tomatoes have finished. In a dramatic turn of events, both the Federal High Court and the Kano State High Court have issued conflicting interim injunctions regarding the Kano Emirates, escalating tensions and uncertainty in the state. The Federal High Court in Kano, presided over by Justice S.A. Amobeda, issued an order for the eviction of Emir Sanusi II from the Kofa Kudu Palace and reinforcing the authority of the 15th Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero. On the other hand, the Kano State High Court, under the jurisdiction of Honorable Justice Amina Adamu Aliyu, issued an injunction to protect Muhammadu Sanusi and other key figures from potential harassment by the state authorities. The State High Court's case is set for further hearing on the 13th of June, while that of the Federal High Court has adjourned its case to the 4th of June. The judiciary's role in upholding the rights of our traditional institutions amidst contemporary challenges has never been more critical as both courts prepare for their respective hearings. The people of Kano await clarity on this matter. Well, let's come down to the southeast, where the Anambra State Governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, has at last bowed to pressure to express readiness to conduct local government election in the state. A bill for a law to establish the Anambra State Independent Electoral Commission and for Connected Purposes 2024, which was sent to the State Assembly by the governor, has passed through the second reading. The executive bill, which was presented before the House by the Majority Leader, Mr. Ikenna Ofodeme, will enable and empower the state to conduct local government elections when passed into law. Anambra State Independent Electoral Commission, ANSIEC, has not been in place since 12 years, while there have been public outcry over the non-conduct of local government elections by the governor. According to a lawmaker, Mr. Ofodeme, who presented the bill, the proposed legislation, which has about 110 clauses, will no doubt assist the state to address the interests of both the government and those that are not in government. In neighboring Imo State, A police officer, Inspector Isong Osudwe, attached to the Counter-Terrorism Unit (CTU) in Owerri, the Imo State capital, has been demoted following a widely circulated video showing him extorting money from motorists along the Owerri-Onitsha Expressway. The Imo State Police Commissioner, Aboki Danjuma, announced this disciplinary action in a statement by the police spokesperson, Henry Okoye, who stated that the officer's behavior was shameful and unprofessional. The supervisory officer has also been issued an official query for lack of supervision. Aboki condemned the officer's actions, stating that the command would not tolerate any form of extortion or misconduct by its personnel. He warned that supervisory officers who fail to carry out their oversight duties will face severe sanctions. Indigenes of Umuihweze Autonomous Community in AKWETE, NDOKI Ancient Kingdom in UKWA East Local Government Area of Abia State have protested an alleged plot to impose Daniel Nwuzo as their new traditional ruler. Nwuzo was last week announced as the newly elected traditional ruler of the community by the Abia State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Uzon Wachuku, after a plebiscite conducted in the community by his ministry. The commissioner, who said that Nwuzo scored 9 votes to defeat Augustine Bulu, who he said got 1 vote in a peaceful plebiscite, which followed due process, also explained that the state government is not interested in who becomes the traditional ruler, but only interested in peace and stability in all parts of the state. But many elders and youths of Umuihweze, who staged the protest at UKWA East Local Government Area Headquarters, AKWETE, against the emergence of Daniel Nwuzo as Eze-elect, called on the Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Oti, to call the Commissioner, Uzon Wachuku, to order to avoid breakdown of law and order. They also alleged that the Commissioner, in collusion with a federal lawmaker from the area, compromised the true process and tradition that produces a traditional ruler for Umuihweze, AKWETE. You're watching Enyimba TV News. After the short break, the news continues with foreign business and sports update. Please stay tuned. We will be right back. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. Now the news continues. Spain, Ireland and Norway formally recognized a Palestinian state in a coordinated decision slammed by Israel as a reward for Hamas, more than 7 months into the devastating Gaza war. The 3 European countries believe their initiative has a strong symbolic impact that could encourage others to follow suit. The plans were unveiled last week by the 3 countries, sparking a furious response from Israel and escalating diplomatic tensions, notably with Spain. But recognizing Palestinian statehood has provoked sharp disagreement within the 27-nation European Union. For decades, formal recognition of a Palestinian state has been seen as the endgame of a negotiated peace between Israelis and Palestinians. This move will mean 145 of the United Nations 193 member states now recognize Palestinian statehood. In business, 17 groups, along with representatives of 6 kingdoms and 2 special units of organic extraction, have called for the resumption of oil exploration in the area. In a joint press conference in Bori, Kano local government area, the groups said the resumption of oil activities will boost the local economy. This comes after the movement for the survival of Ogoni people, MOSOP, and a faction of the National Youth Council of Ogoni people, condemned the recent visit to the presidency by some Ogoni leaders for the resumption of oil exploration. However, the youth leaders and representatives from Ogoni clans have expressed their displeasure over the criticism. They gathered to show their support for resuming oil exploration activities. Well, experts believe the resumption of oil exploration activities will boost the economy of Ogoni, but this requires unity, consultations with major parties, and caution due to the environmental damage suffered by the Ogonis, which has yet to be fully remediated. Well, in sport, Confederation of African Football (CAF) has clarified that next year's Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations will still have 12 finalists in attendance, as against a minimum of 16 teams being projected by African football enthusiasts. Well, this means that despite defeating host nation Ghana in Tuesday's third-place match of the WAFU B Under-17 Championship, the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria have not qualified for the finals. The final tournament will still have 12 teams, while expectations have been high among African football fans that the 2025 Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations will be expanded while following FIFA's allocation at its Congress in Bangkok, penultimate week of 10 slots to the continent for the 2025 FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Qatar. Qatar will host 5 consecutive FIFA Under-17 World Cup finals beginning next year, each having 48 teams in attendance. With the sports story, we wrap up this edition of news on Enyimba TV at this time. But before we go, here is a recap of the top stories. Former President Buhari congratulates President Tinubu on first anniversary, asks Nigerians to back him. Organized labor dumps federal government's fresh 60,000 naira wage offer shifts to 494,000 naira. We also told you that indigenes protest alleged imposition of monarch in AKWETE, NDOKI, ancient kingdom of UKWA West local government area of Abia State. That's our package for the news now. Please join us for more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Click on notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. My name is Michael Oni. On behalf of the production crews, stay out of trouble and enjoy the rest of your day.